Welcome to the Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation's Virtual Boots and Bling for Better Bones fundraiser. I'm Melissa Bernardi, the Director of Development at the Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation, and I want to thank you for joining us tonight. If you're anything like me, you're probably really looking forward to coming together at the Goode Company's Armadillo Palace for a fantastic evening of barbecue, honky-tonk, and fundraising to support the mission of the OI Foundation. I'm sad to not see you all in person, but OI is not just a rare genetic bone disorder. It actually affects a person's type 1 collagen. And since collagen is a part of every system of the human body, OI is a whole body disorder. In fact, we've recently discovered through a cardiopulmonary study funded by the OI Foundation and now included in the Brittle Bones Disorder Consortium that regardless of type, OI does affect a person's lung health. And so, due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, we didn't want to take any risks and put the health and wellness of the members of the OI community first. But we're very excited to pivot this event to a virtual one. So what should you expect tonight? We have a fantastic auction that can be accessed on your computer or your phone at www.biddingforgood.com/OI Foundation, where you can win some truly unique items, like a hand-painted bottle of liquor or a custom piece of art from Houston artist Kelly Morley. We also have an amazing stay at Benesseri Vineyards in Napa Valley and a home-delivered barbecue meal from Goode Company up for grabs. So make sure to check that out tonight. The auction will be open until Friday, November 13th, so make sure to bid and bid often. And speaking of Goode Company barbecue, if you live in Houston and purchased a barbecue party package, you're probably enjoying some award-winning Goode Company barbecue right now. And I, for one, am extremely jealous. Tonight, we're also going to hear from the 4 fabulous ladies on our host committee, Sarah Dyke, Cindy Medina, Courtney Paddock, and Zarina Rashid, as they share their OI stories. And this year, instead of having a Fund the Mission auction, where we sit at our tables and an auctioneer gets on stage and asks you to raise your paddle, you'll have the opportunity to fund the mission of the OI Foundation throughout the evening by making a direct donation at biddingforgood.com/OI Foundation. Or if you'd rather, you can always make a pledge in the chat. I'm also super excited to announce that Weldon Henson is joining us tonight to play us some of his fantastic music. It wouldn't be an OI Foundation Boots and Bling for Better Bones without Weldon, and we're honored to have him join us tonight. All right, you can't see them, but I've got my boots on, and I've certainly got my bling on, so let's get this started. I want to introduce OI Foundation Board of Directors President Cameron Penn to kick us off tonight. Cameron, take it away.
Thank you, Melissa, and thanks to everybody for having me. This is my first time at the Boots and Bling, and I'm thrilled to be here. I know a number of you. For those of you who I have not had the honor and pleasure of meeting yet, this is my second year as president for board of directors. I've been on the board since 2014. I was diagnosed with OI just a few years ago, and let's see, that would be the same year that Gemma Geisman actually created the OIF. So I'm gonna let y'all do the math on that one. No judgment. I was lucky. My pediatrician already had another patient with OI. The odds back then were probably nothing short of astronomical. I was also lucky in that my type is incredibly mild, and the number of fractures I've had pales in comparison to most of the folks out there. In fact, I think I've had more fractures the past 2 years than I had in the previous 35. But as I said, I'm the anomaly. I'm the outlier here. I know there are patients out there who are far worse off than I'll ever be. And we're just now discovering, as Melissa mentioned, how much more OI affects than just bone breaks. And I know there are parents out there who are just getting that diagnosis and staring at each other like my parents did. And that's why we're here tonight. For you who are already living and managing OI as a patient, a parent, a caregiver, a friend, a family member, and those who are just now starting down that path. We're here to support each other in every way we can and really support the mission of the OI Foundation. So on behalf of the entire board of directors, on behalf of the OIF staff, the community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being generous with your time and with your donations. Melissa, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thanks, Cameron. As we've mentioned, you can make donations tonight online at www.biddingforgood.com/OI Foundation. We have a leaderboard that you can see our progress throughout the evening that also shows our auction items as well as donations that are made. So hopefully we'll continue to watch this number go up and see some great things happen throughout the evening. Cameron, if you want to introduce our first speaker.
Absolutely. One of, if not the biggest benefit of connecting this format is the chance to see and speak with folks as we haven't connected with in months or years. And as Melissa mentioned, keep an eye on the chat section here. Click on that button down at the bottom. We also get to hear many of the stories that make the OI community so, so strong. And the first comes from one of our co-hosts tonight. After hearing so many stories about Sarah, I actually made a trip down from Dallas to Houston, and we spent a couple hours over lunch. And that's when her daughter Anderson was just starting to think about college and where she wanted to go. Those couple hours felt like 5 minutes. That's the kind of person she is. And now, in her own words, here is Sarah Dyke.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Dyke. I first want to thank each and every one of you for joining us virtually tonight to support and raise awareness for Osteogenesis Imperfecta, or OI for short. OI came into our lives almost 20 years ago when our sweet, smart Anderson was born. When she was a month old, she had her first major femur fracture from a routine hip check test done by the pediatrician. After that, our world turned upside down and caring for fractures would be our new normal. At the time, the internet was something new, and the only form of OI information I could gather was from our fabulous doctors, the OI Foundation, and a small Yahoo group of OI moms. I think there were about 12 of us back then. Now, Facebook has grown that group to over 2,000 parents from all over the world. For those of you who do not know much about OI, it is a rare genetic disorder that affects collagen. It causes fragile bones that break with little to no trauma and affects all other tissue. For many years, people with OI were divided into 4 different groups, but with DNA testing and advancement, they have been finding more and more types. People show symptoms that range from very mild to very severe, and right now there is no cure, but I hope one day there will be. Anderson has been lucky to receive cutting-edge treatments and new devices that grow as she grows. Because of these advancements, her fracture rate is way down and she has become an independent walker. She is actually off at college now in Virginia, studying creative writing, and we could not be more proud of how far she has come. The OI Foundation's mission is to improve the quality of life for those living with OI through research, education, awareness, and mutual support. The first year we went to an OI Foundation conference, we packed up the car and headed to Dallas with my parents. Anderson was only about a year old. We divided up, and between all of us, I think we attended every single session, and at night we would gather and compare notes. We have attended every single conference since, at first for information, but now we go so Anderson can hang out with her friends, meet new ones, and go through the same things that she does. It has been great for her soul, and I still go to some of them to learn about new treatments, research, and connect with other parents. The OI Foundation has made a difference in the lives of thousands of children and adults who live with OI, and with the support of people like you, can continue to improve the lives of many more. I hope you will consider donating tonight to fund the mission and support the amazing research the OI Foundation is helping to push forward. Again, thank you from the very bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Sarah. The mutual support provided by the OI Foundation at our national conferences, regional conferences, support group meetings, and on our Facebook page are life-changing resources that we're very proud to be able to offer OI community members.
And Melissa, having a rare disorder, even in the best of times, is challenging in and of itself. In times like these, it takes all of us coming together, not only at events like this, but just simply reaching out, saying hi, checking on people. It also takes folks in companies like these to make events like this possible. So I want to thank our sponsors this evening. These are the ones who not only support this event year after year, but they are committed to this group and the OI Foundation. And for that, we cannot thank you enough.
Absolutely. Thank you to all of our sponsors and all of you joining us tonight and making donations. Let's take a quick look at our leaderboard and see how we're doing. Thank you guys so much. We're up to $5,700 tonight, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Oh, Isabel Lamb, thank you for your donation. And now I want to take the moment to introduce a very special part of our Boots and Bling for Better Bones evenings, the fantastic music of Weldon Henson. We're so honored that he was able to join us tonight and sing some of his songs for us, even though we're not together. Everyone, put your hands together for Weldon Henson.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm glad we're able to make this work. This is pretty neat that we can all get together on this, and especially for a great cause. And I tell you what, at first I was a little bummed. I didn't think we was going to be able to do it this year. I think I did the last 3 years, and but so I'm just very happy and feel fortunate that we can get together tonight. Here's the thing I wrote called "Come On." Lately we've been moping around. It feels like these walls are closing in on this house. Every day it's the same old thing. Come on, honey, let's break the routine. Tell me what you thinking, come on. Let's head out, come on. Maybe paint the town, come on. We can be young again, even if it's pretend, so come on. Just you and me, come on. Like we're wild and free, come on. Baby, come on. Yeah, baby, come on. Let's leave the kids with your mama. Come on. You know it's been too long. Come on. Baby, come on. Because lately we've been feeling stuck deeper in life's rut of schedules and routines. I'm losing my mind. Can't you see? Come on. Let's head out and come on. Maybe paint the town. Come on. Baby, come on. Hey, baby, come on. Honey, come on. Just you and me. Baby, come on. Just wait and see. Baby, come on. Let's come on and raise a bunch of money tonight. How about that? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Weldon. Don't worry, everyone. He'll be back in a little while. Our next story comes from Courtney and Robert Paddock, whose son Jim had quite a rough start in life.
Hello, my name is Robert Paddock, and I'm along here with my wife, Courtney. We wanted to tell you our story about our son, Jim, and his experience with OI. Jim was born almost 7 years ago on December 13th, 2013. He was our second child. Our first boy. We were very excited. There was nothing unusual about his birth. Over the next 2 weeks, we thought he cried a lot. We thought maybe it was colic, and it was also just This was a 2-week-old, and they cry a lot, but we didn't think anything was out of the ordinary.
So I took him to his 2-week well child visit, and I actually even had lunch plans directly after. I thought, oh, I'll be here, be here 15 minutes, and that's it. So the doctor laid him on the table to do the Orlani test, and I was up near his head singing the alphabet to try and calm him down. And the doctor stopped and looked at me and said, does this leg move? And I didn't know what he was talking about. I mean, I moved when I got him dressed, and one leg was just laying flat on the table, and the other leg was kicking up and down frantically. And he said, I think his leg is broken. Well, I was completely shocked, and I even asked, should I call my husband? So what do I do? Well, he said, take him to Texas Children's, and yes, you should call your husband. And so Robert and I met in the emergency room, and that's when everything sort of began from a legal and CPS investigation perspective.
Yeah, I mean, what we learned after Jim's x-ray was taken was that he had a severe compound fracture of his left femur. And the radiologist who looked at the slide identified it as basically trauma-induced. So as we're trying to find out more information about Jim, what we definitely sensed was a series of more people coming into our room, asking us questions. How did this happen? We had no idea how it happened. And eventually started getting questions by CPS. They just didn't believe us, didn't believe that his fracture was anything but from trauma. And although we couldn't explain it, they couldn't explain it. They were effectively accusing us of abusing our child. Over the next 3 days at the hospital, we did start learning a little bit about OI being a possibility. So at the same time we're trying to navigate this legal process with CPS, we also started learning about OI from various doctors who they believed that Jim's injury was not related to abuse. Nevertheless, we had to leave the hospital on the condition of CPS, not the hospital, that either of us could be around our kids alone. There needed to be another adult present. We are very fortunate that my parents live here in Houston. And so at 2 weeks old, Courtney and our 2 kids had to go live with my parents, and I could only be over there during the day with someone else physically present. So it was very traumatic, both from a medical standpoint as well as all of the accusations that were being made. Fortunately or not, 2 or 3 weeks later, when we had an appointment with the doctor to review Jim's leg, they went to take an x-ray, and I said I would like to take an x-ray of all of his bones, not just the femur. When they did, they found a fracture in his other femur, and it wasn't terribly severe, and the good part about it was that it demonstrated that this was likely OI and not the result of any type of abuse. So we were able to get out of the CPS situation, bring Jim home, and really start caring for him. And over the next several months, we started to learn about OI through website, through discussions with Dr. Messino and Dr. Lee at the Baylor College of Medicine. And also, we're very fortunate to build some relationships with other families who were involved with OI.
We were connected to Sarah and Earl Dyke by a mutual friend, and they had a daughter they'd been dealing with OI, and I want to say, how old was Anderson? 11 at the time. She's in college now, but they showed us sort of the ropes, so to speak, and connected us with the right doctors that would rod Jim, since he was such an active little boy. We flew to Omaha, and now he has both legs rotted. He hasn't had, knock on wood, a break in how many, 2 years? He's type 4, but he's very active and is playing soccer, tennis, and swims on the swim team. And we're just so blessed. We've been through hell and back, and we are here and want to give back to this community. So we will always support the OI Foundation, and we're so proud to be chairing this event tonight.
Yeah, thank you to OI for everything that they've provided us and for all the great support that they provide for other families and people with osteogenesis imperfecta. Thank you.
Thanks.
Probably not much consolation, but Courtney and Robert are far from being alone. The OIF staff fields calls like theirs, what feels like on a monthly basis. And unfortunately, it comes with the rare disorder territory. The time spent on OI in medical school is maybe a single lecture or a single day out of several years. And that's why education, and we're not just talking about families, we're talking and focusing on education for pediatricians, emergency room doctors, clinics, nurses, all care providers. That education has been and remains a critical component of our mission. We can't have another family suffer through the same scrutiny and pain that the Cradocks did. And that's why we do events like this, because with your help, with word of mouth, and opening your wallets, we can reach even more medical providers. So maybe, just maybe, their first inclination isn't to look sideways at parents and suspect the worst. We're getting there. We still have a long, long way to go. And in honor of the Cradocks, I'm going to go ahead and donate $250. Look in the chat session right there. Who's with me? Every dollar goes a long way these days. So if you have it, by all means, please jump in there with me.
Thank you so much, Cameron. As he mentioned, you can make a donation in the chat. You can also make a donation directly at biddingforgood.com/OI Foundation. While you're all making those donations and bidding on auction items, let's go ahead and have another song from Weldon Henson.
Thank you, Melissa. Just want to remind everybody, biddingforgood.com/OI Foundation. And thank you for what you're doing, y'all. It's, you know, this is something that's not very known around the world, so it's almost like we've got to double down to keep things going really well for everybody. So here's a song I wrote called Just Believe. When it was rough that year, but it made us tough, and we held strong because we were thankful for what we got. There were times of plenty, so I was glad that we saved up on some good old-fashioned values that Granddaddy taught. Yes, I remember. He said, your time's coming, who says that you can't dance? Surround yourself by those you trust, your family and friends. And I can promise you, if you work hard, you'll see your time is coming. Just believe. It's been about 15 years since I heard those words. One night Dad came over. He said, you look worried, son. So I told him about the struggles, how things hadn't quite worked out. He just smiled, grabbed me by the shoulder, said, I've been there myself. He said, your time's coming, who says that you can't dance? Surround yourself by those you trust, son, your family and friends. And I can promise you, if you work hard, you'll see your time is coming. Just believe. And as I sit here, you know it makes me think, as I look down at my little one crawling by my feet. Your time's coming, who says you can't dance? Surround yourself by those you trust, honey, your family and friends. And I can promise you, if you work hard, you'll see your time is coming. Just believe your time is coming. Just believe. and I can still hear my granddaddy tell my daddy, same way he told me, your time is coming, just believe.
Thank you so much, Weldon.
Very welcome.
I think it's time to have a little fun. We are going to do a raffle tonight. So everyone joining us here tonight has been added to our raffle wheel. You must be online to win, so good luck, everyone. Congratulations, Kevin Brophy. You are our winner tonight. And you have won a $25 gift card to Goode Company Barbecue. Actually, any Goode Company restaurant. And for those of you who didn't win, there is still the Pride of Sam Houston barbecue meal for $16 to $20 up for grabs in the auction. And we'll have another raffle coming at you later this evening, so stay tuned. Next up, I would like to introduce a very fun duo, Matt and Cindy Medina.
Hello, people of the world. My name is Matthew Medina. I'm 12 years old, and I'm turning 13 tomorrow. And I'm super glad to be here spreading awareness for Osteogenesis Imperfecta. Osteogenesis Imperfecta, also known as OI, is a brittle bone disease, and there are many types to it. I was born to type 3. The OIF has helped me and many kids like me. I hope you will donate tonight to support the amazing research that the OI Foundation is helping to push forward.
Thank you so much, Matt. And in honor of your birthday, we have a little surprise for you.
Hey, Matt, they told me, yeah, it's your birthday, and I thought this was pretty cool. We're doing an event like this on your birthday, and to make it a little extra sweet, I'd like to put out an actual birthday song to you and sing happy birthday to you. And folks, if you're watching out there while I'm doing this is the perfect time to donate some money in honor of Matt. How about that? So let's all sing at home. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Matt. Happy birthday to you and many, many more. Happy birthday, Matt.
Thank you so much, Weldon. And happy birthday, Matt the Champ Medina. Now a word from Matt's mom, Cindy.
Hi, my name is Cindy Medina. Most people know me as Matt's mom. Thank you for joining us for Boots and Bling tonight and helping the OI Foundation in raising awareness for Osteogenesis Imperfecta. I'm so excited to be part of Boots and Bling again this year because I truly believe in the work the foundation does. Our family has experienced that help firsthand. When Matt was born with severe type 3 OI 13 years ago, that diagnosis came with very little information, no instruction on how to help take care of him, and to be honest, very, very little hope. Our family was lost and confused because we were given this horrible prognosis of his life expectancy, and over the next year and a half, we basically fumbled through life. Until we met another OI family while we were at the Shriners Hospital here in Houston. That mom put me in touch with the OI Foundation, and as soon as I reached out, the foundation put me in touch with a local support group here in Houston, a Yahoo email group that was for parents of children with OI. And then later that year, we were awarded a grant to attend our first national OI conference. That conference was a real game changer for our family. Matt was able to meet people just like him for the first time. We met a lot of people that were dealing with the same situation and living our same life. And we met tons of people that had come up with solutions to problems that we were struggling through. We also were able to get a lot of information about surgeries and treatments and the research that was happening from real OI experts at the sessions that they held at that conference. Matt was not predicted to live past 3 years old, but tonight you see him living life to the fullest and absolutely loving it. A lot of that is thanks to that life-changing moment in Portland, Oregon when we attended our first national conference. Research is so, so important, but And the OI Foundation does an amazing job with that, but it also does really important work in helping those that are affected with OI live better lives right now. People like us. I know that we're living in a really strange time right now, but if you are able to give anything at all, the OI Foundation could truly use your support.
Cindy mentioned, and as Sarah mentioned earlier, National Conference is not only life-changing and game-changing, it's a vital resource for all of us in the OI community, the board, the staff, our medical professionals. A few months ago, we were all supposed to see each other in person, and we know so many folks live for these conferences, whether it's catching up with old friends in the hallways, or asking questions at doctors you wouldn't normally see. And this year that didn't happen for obvious reasons. At the time, it felt unfair. It felt very unsure. We had no idea when we decided to take it virtual if what we were going to do would work. Deep down, we all wanted to be together in Omaha the same way we were 2 years ago, in Baltimore and Orlando before that. Then something crazy happened, and we didn't know then was how relatable this whole virtual venture would be. There were no travel concerns anymore. There were no financial hurdles or burdens. We had literally thousands of people joining us online, and not just from around the corner in the US. We had Canada, Scotland, Egypt, Australia, Japan, Jordan, Germany, Brazil, Ecuador, all over South America, and a bunch of others I know I'm forgetting. Even more remarkable, as Cindy mentioned, when she and Matt first went, nearly half of the thousands that were with us were attending their very first conference. And that's remarkable. But funny enough, between the staff and our medical professionals, they didn't miss a beat. We talked about managing pain and fatigue, surgical and dental treatments, and we got the very latest from Dr. Brendan Lee on research, and he's actually coming up in just a few minutes. Melissa, it not only worked, it was downright amazing.
You're right, Cameron. Amazing is the exact way to say it. You know, we've got a lot of new virtual outreach planned, starting with a COVID-19 vaccine information webinar in December, a virtual regional conference in January, and of course the Fine Wine Strong Bones Gala in February. We're also launching virtual office hours every week where individuals can log into Zoom and speak with our health educator, Jessica Ransom, or talk amongst themselves about questions that they're currently facing. And all these amazing resources couldn't exist without the support of donors like you all here tonight. Your gifts help us fund the OI Information Center, national regional conferences, and new information resources like a newly diagnosed toolkit that was just published this month, and that will help families in the first year after their baby is diagnosed. Let's take another look at our leaderboard. And while we're taking a look, I'd like to welcome back Weldon Henson.
Thank you, Melissa. Here's a little thing I wrote called Texas Made. Let's look at the leaderboard, and this is always a good time for people to donate some money too. Well, if you don't feel like listening to me, go ahead and donate some money right now. Anyway, here's the thing I wrote called Texas Made. We're down around San Antonio, that's where my baby's from. Prettiest girl that you ever did see, but watch out, she can get real mean. That's how it is, she won't change. My baby is Texas made. Well, my mama met my daddy in a honky-tonk. Well, Ernest Tubb was playing that waltz. Didn't take long for her to figure out that a Texas man is what it's about. They got together, so I guess you could say I am Texas made. Yeah, Texas made, that's what I am. Living my life in the promised land. I grew up in the East Texas pines. Now I make my living on hill country time. It don't matter where you go, you sure to find people that you want to know. Look us up on a Saturday night in a Texas dance hall is quite a sight. The music you hear is sure to amaze. We call it Texas made. Well, some folks say it's a state of mind. Around here, it's a way of life. We got guns, barbecue, and nice cold beer out in y'all friendly atmosphere. That's life in a Lone Star State. Call it Texas made. Yeah, Texas made, that's what I am. Red River to the Rio Grande. I grew up in East Texas pines now. I make my living on hill country time. Texarkana, El Paso, Big Bend country to the Gulf Coast. Fort Worth, Austin, Laredo, Lubbock down to the Alamo. It's a great big world, make no mistake. We call it Texas made. That's my life, ain't it great? Call it Texas made. That's right, it's Texas made. We are Texas made, right here with you tonight. Texas made. Just like that, that's how it ends, I promise.
Thank you so much, Weldon. And thank you to all of you who are making that thermometer go up and bidding on auction items. Next up, I have the pleasure of introducing our newest committee member who joined us for the first time last year, Zarina Rashid.
Hello, my name is Zarina Rashid, and I am the mother of Imran Kachi. For those of you who joined us last year, you may know more about our story, but a brief summary and kind of a catch-up of what has been going on this past year. As you may recall, our biggest struggle had really been trying to get Imran into school. We were struggling trying to find an aide and someone that would be willing to accept him despite his physical disability. Cognitively and intellectually, he was testing at average and above average. However, every school kept telling us that he was a liability instead of an asset, and that was our biggest struggle. We were fortunate enough finally this January to get accepted into a school, Becker. They were so kind and accommodating and were very just wonderful to our son, and we were so grateful that they accepted him and allowed him to start. Of course, 6 weeks into that, COVID started, and so that made it a little bit difficult for us, and so Imran obviously then had to stay at home and brings a new set of challenges to us. However, we're getting through it, and we're really excited when everything settles down and he can safely return to school. Physically, we are still experiencing a few challenges. We did have a blissful 8 months of no leg fractures. He did have his arms fractured, and we went up to Omaha to have surgery on those. However, he was able to walk, and we were very excited about that. Unfortunately, again, in January, he has just been growing so quickly that his legs just haven't been able to quite keep up with him. And so we made a very difficult decision during this COVID pandemic to travel again, and we went back up to Omaha to have his leg rods replaced again in order to really gain that stability and strength he needs to walk. We were obviously hoping to wait a little bit longer before we had to return there, but something that I have now realized and come to accept is that with each surgery, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be his last surgery, but rather it's going to be the surgery that gets him through the next phase of his growth. It has been a very difficult concept for us to accept. However, we're very excited that these are even possibilities to allow him to walk and, of course, be mobile. The one thing that my son has always given me and my husband is just the strength and courage to continue to fight for him and for us as a family. The one thing that was really exciting about this particular surgery was Imran was very excited about it because he asked me if after his rods he would be able to run as fast as Flash, jump as high as Spider-Man, and be as strong as Superman. And it's something that just keeps us hopeful through each step of this journey that we are currently on. And I do hope that one day, of course, his dreams will come true. We're so grateful that family and friends like you all have been able to donate. And it is because of you and your love and support that Imran has even been able to walk thus far. With your continued support and generosity and donations, of course, we know that he will continue to gain strength and open the possibilities and doors for him to continue to grow and hopefully have a very long and happy, fulfilled, and strong life. So please consider a donation for him and for us and for all children with OI. We are so close and on the cusp of so many different changes with gene therapy and other research possibilities. And we do hope to continue to improve the lives of children with OI. Thank you so much for being a part of our story and continuing to give us your love and support as always.
Hello, my name is Mokachi. I have osteogenesis.
Imperfect.
I really like it. If you can give a donation tonight.
Thank you, Zarina, as well. I appreciate it. She is the newest of our 4 amazing and tireless committee members for tonight's event. They're doing the work of a small army, and we really can't thank y'all enough. So much of the OI Foundation's work has expanded and evolved since I joined the board 7 years ago. From the newborn diagnosis toolkit that Melissa mentioned to the advances we've seen in adult health, and as Zarina mentioned as well, a lot of this starts with you. These are the topics that you have told us that were most important to you as parents, as patients, as caregivers, as family and friends. So as we continue to advance, we still need your input, your expertise as parents, as patients, Zarina, Sarah, Courtney, Cindy, what you guys see every day. So don't hesitate to reach out to us at any point. Melissa?
Absolutely, Cameron, you're so right. The feedback that we get from the OI community is, it's amazing. I'm speechless. So I think it's time that we should do another raffle. Let's bring our wheel up and spin it. Congratulations, Janice Freeman. You have won a $25 gift card to Goode Company. So that was fun, and I think we should continue having some fun with some more Weldon Henson. Weldon, come on back. And while he plays, don't forget to check out the auction at www.biddingforgood.com/OI Foundation. You could still bid on all kinds of great items, like that Pride of Sam Houston dinner for $16 to $20 that will be delivered to your house. Or you could win a trip for up to 4 couples to stay at the Benisari Vineyards in Napa Valley. And what better way to stay socially distanced than surrounded by a ton of wine? And don't worry if you're not interested in getting on a plane right now. That will be valid for 1 year after the COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. So without further ado, welcome back, Weldon Henson.
All right, good to be back, and lots of great items to bid on, folks. This is the perfect time to do when I'm playing. This is the perfect time to get your donations in and bid on the items for sure. So here's a song I wrote earlier this year. Just wrote it about my puppy dog. He's getting kind of older, so anyway, I won't bore you with the story, but anyway, he's getting a little older, and I have to help him in the truck these days. And so here's a song called I Just Help Him Up in the Truck These Days. It goes like this. We still go down that same old dirt road. Though his heart might not beat as fast, and he might not last as long as he used to in a good old game of fetch. And with that same old sad puppy dog look, you make sure he gets his way. I like to think that nothing's changed. I just help him up in the truck these days. Yeah, the years of chasing rabbits, birds, and squirrels, they kept his spirit young. Now he hangs out the bit more on the front porch, and he walks a whole lot more than he runs. And in recent years, he's had to take a back seat to our kids, but his love remains. I like to think that nothing's changed. I just help him up in the truck these days. I just help him up in the truck these days. Lord knows after all these years, it's a small price to pay for the million times he's wagged his tail. Oh, let me tell you now, he's lifted me up so many ways. I like to think that nothing's changed. I just help him up in the truck these days. I know the time takes its toll on pretty much everything, but I'm not ready to admit that his time here might soon be ending. So I just help him up in the truck these days. Lord knows after all these years, it's a small price to pay for the million times he's wagged his tail. Well, let me tell you again now, he's lifted me up so many ways. I like to think that nothing's changed. I just help him up in the truck these days. I'd like to think that nothing's changed. I just help him up in the truck these days. We still go down that same old dirt road. Everybody loves a good dog song, right?
Well, thank you very much. And I don't know how I ended up having to follow the old dog song, but I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Not only is he a fantastic musician, he's also taking over a job as MC, and he brought his own uplighting. So how can you not like Weldon? He's coming back with one more performance you won't want to miss, so stick around. Changing genres a bit, I'd like to introduce OI's rock star team, including Dr. Nagamani. Hi, Dr. Nagamani. They are from the Baylor College of Medicine, and it's headed up by Dr. Brendan Lee. He is in his office, of course, because the man never sleeps. Dr. Lee, it's all yours.
Good evening, everyone. This is Brendan Lee. I'm the chair of the Department of Molecular and Human Genetics here at Baylor College of Medicine. And it's a great pleasure to greet all of you virtually at this year's annual Boots and Bling event. As you know, I've been a big supporter and partner of the Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation for many years. And I've always looked forward to this event every year. And I again want to thank all of our gracious hosts for now sponsoring this event virtually. In spite of all the craziness that's going on in the world with COVID-19, it's wonderful that you all came out to support the mission of the Osteogenesis Imperfecta to really improve the lives of children and adults with OI, as well as to work towards finding a cure. This has really been a momentous year for many reasons. On the positive side, this is the 50th anniversary of all the great work and leadership of the OI Foundation. And I hope you will join me in continuing to be generous in supporting their and our work together. I'm going to share a few slides with you, which I think really underscore all the great achievements and the enormous impact that the OI Foundation, working with our scientific and patient communities, have actually had on patients with OI, as well as the whole rare bone disease community. So if you would take a second to allow me to share my screen. As I mentioned, it has been an amazing 50 years of leadership and scientific achievements. And I think the OI Foundation very early on recognized to truly transform the care and the quality of life of this potentially devastating disease has been to invest in scientific advances. It was actually only in 1985 that the underlying genetic cause, that is mutations in type 1 collagen, the most abundant protein in our bones, was identified as the cause of many or most forms of osteogenesis imperfecta. And it was only in 1998 where the use of pamidronate, a bisphosphonate, was demonstrated to have an impact on the bones of children and adults with OI. And our own work here at Baylor, now almost 15 years ago, which identified the first recessive genes other than type 1 collagen that contributed to osteogenesis and imperfecta, opening a flood to what has been a molecular understanding of these bone diseases. But at the end of the day, how do you translate scientific discovery into impact on patients? And that is, of course, clinical research. The OI Foundation had the foresight to invest in this by establishing several linked clinical research centers, which we were one of in 2009. And that was to really collaborate with other centers around this country and around the world to begin to bring our collective expertise together, to bring patients together to do clinical research. And that, of course, led us to be awarded the first really bone-specific grant from the National Institutes of Health to fund the Brittle Bone Disorders Consortium, which I have the honor of being the principal investigator of. And this has led to many important discoveries in terms of how we can improve the lives of patients with OI. And as you may remember, my mentioning last year, we were refunded for another 5 years because of the outstanding work that we have done together. But that is not the only investment. The OI community has been very, very generous, and the Jamie Kendall Fund has been established to address specifically problems with the heart and lungs as we learn more about how OI is a disease that impacts not just the bones. How these discoveries and how the issues that affect everyday life has led to the OI Foundation obtaining another grant from something called PCORI to engage patients, to build a broader infrastructure to address patient-centered research. And this has further translated into therapy, but not only brought by the Brittle Bone Disorders Consortium, but by companies, investment by companies like Mereo, who's pursuing a clinical trial different than what we're doing, but also potentially effective in blocking a protein called sclerostin in osteogenesis imperfecta. I've placed some of these discoveries on another metric, which is a timeline of the number of papers that have been published. You know, in the world of scientific research, publishing peer-reviewed papers is a very important metric of sharing the data and really vetting the quality and the science. And as you can see, as a whole global community, in 1970, there were only about 50 papers published on the topic of osteogenesis imperfecta. But as you can see, in 1985, as I mentioned, the discovery of the first gene for osteogenesis imperfecta, the development of pamidronate, bisphosphonate for treatment of OI, our work on the recessive forms of OI, and really the investment in clinical research, translating these basic discoveries into practice with the linked clinical research centers, with how OI mutations are converted into actual weak bones, the investment in clinical research with the NIH Brittle Bones Disorders Consortium led to this exponential increase, or beginnings of an exponential increase, we think, in publications and the knowledge base, so that we can in fact have better evidence to approach the treatment and management of OI. It's very exciting. We are completing our phase 1 clinical trial by the Brittle Bones Disorders Consortium, led by Dr. Sandesh Nagamani and others here, on frizolumab, an anti-TGF-beta antibody. And as you can see, just in one patient who had received 1 dose of this antibody, the bone mass increased as high as 15%, really dramatic. And we're now about to really move on to multiple dosing of this to see whether this can be sustained long term. But this is one exciting example of how understanding the mechanism of the research of OI, TGF-beta in this case, can lead to a real patient-specific therapy. So what is the future? Well, in this next phase of the Brittle Bones Consortium, in the community, we continue to focus on quality of life. How can treatments and discoveries affect quality of life? We want to focus on the heart and lungs, because this is a very important part of our organ systems to advance high quality of life long term. Another element that was identified by patients is the dental elements, the malocclusion and the dental fractures that occur. And in fact, in the second phase of the Brittle Bones Consortium, we are doing the first ever clinical trial of different types of aligners to try to fix malocclusion. We want to understand how growth is affected, how joint function is affected. We recently received a supplement from the NIH by Dr. Krakow in our Brittle Bones Consortium to study really pregnancy complication. Our longitudinal study, together with patients and families, identified mental health issues. And so, in fact, we put in a new application to try to study the neuropsychological elements of how OI affects everyday life. Ultimately, all of this hopefully will be developed into targeted therapies which will impact every patient and their quality of life. In spite of all this work, we need to train also the next generation. As we continue our work, we need to train the next generation to be able to broaden our expertise and take care of families, not just in special centers like here in Houston, but throughout the country and the world. And I think importantly, the Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation has continued this leadership on all these fronts. And again, I want to thank you for coming tonight, in spite of this new virtual forum, but also to show your generosity to support the scientific and the patient leadership of the Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. It is really exciting to see how far we've come and know how fast we're moving forward. There are a lot of exciting things on the horizon, and I'm really thrilled that I get to be here to watch it all come about. I also want to give a huge thank you to all of our presenters tonight. We know how hard it can be sometimes to talk about yourself, and we truly appreciate you putting yourselves out there and sharing your OI story. But I think it's been so important to see that we're all in this together, and even though we can't be together in person, none of us are ever alone. So let's end tonight with another great song by Weldon Henson. Now's a great time. If you haven't had the opportunity to make your donation, you can either put it in the chat or go to biddingforgood.com/OI Foundation. So take it away, Weldon.
Thank you, Melissa. Once again, it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to be a part of such a great cause again this year, and I'm so glad we're able to get it on. And like she said, folks, if I'm on my last song, that means we're getting near the end of this program, so let's ramp it up a little bit. And how much longer is the bidding open for right now?
The auction ends Friday, November 13th, so you actually still have a full week to bid on items, and donations can be made up till that time as well. But I'd love to see that ticker go up and hit our goals tonight.
All right, let's do it, y'all. Y'all heard it. There's still time to keep going and bid on it as much as you can. It's all for a great cause and getting awareness out there. So thank you to all the sponsors, and thank you to all the people that work hard, and listen, Cameron, and everybody else on the OI Foundation. All right, I've been doing a bunch of my songs. I'll do probably one of the most popular cover songs I ever do wherever I go, and I know everybody will sing along a little bit. Amarillo by morning, up from San Antonio. Everything that I've got, well, it's just what I've got on. When that sun is high in that Texas sky, I'll be bucking at the county fair. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo, I'll be there. They took my saddle in Houston, broke my leg in Santa Fe, lost my wife and a girlfriend somewhere along the way. But I'll be looking for aid when they pull that gate, and I hope that judge ain't blind. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo is on my mind. Amarillo by morning, up from San Antonio. Everything that I've got is just what I've got on. I ain't got a dime, but what I got is mine. I ain't rich, but Lord, I'm still free. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo is where I'll be. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo, oh, is where I'll be.
Thank you so much, Weldon, and thank you all for being here tonight. Let's take one final look at that leaderboard and see how we're doing. We are up to $30,530 raised tonight. Thank you all so much for all that you do. Remember, the online auction is open until Friday, November 13th, and donations can still be made both at biddingforgood.com/OI Foundation, as well as on the OI Foundation's webpage, oif.org/donate. So that brings us to the end of tonight. I want to again extend my huge thanks on behalf of myself, Cameron, our host committee, and all the staff and board of directors of the OI Foundation. When I say we're overwhelmed at your support, I really mean it. Thank you so much.